Moms on Maternity podcast. I'm Aimee Cruz, and today we have Nadya Ramos on with us. Hey, Nadya.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. So got connected with you. Been really enjoying your content on Instagram and Modern Millennial Mom. Tell me, how old is your son and why did you start Modern Millennial Mom?
I have a little one that is 2 years old, and I started Modern Millennial Mom because a lot of the content that I saw on TV and on social media was portraying motherhood in this sort of romantic way that is part of motherhood, but there's also a whole other side of motherhood that isn't as talked about as often, and specifically especially in Hispanic households. So I wanted to sort of create a platform where the content that people see is very much the real or the other side that's not as often talked about side of motherhood, which also plays a big role in who we are as women, because a lot of women take on a lot of the responsibility that goes with raising children. And in Hispanic households, we take on more of the responsibility than in other cultures compared to our male counterparts. So I wanted to
How old was your son when you started the vision here?
I started in 2019. I had been active on social media, posting about, before I got pregnant, I started posting about different things, fashion, food. And once I had my son, I went through a really rough phase because I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do all the things that I love to do. I thought that I was going to have to remove a big part of who I am as a person and as a woman in order to fill in this role of being a mom. That's what, growing up, that's what I saw. I saw my mom, my aunt, my sister, my friends, they had to put aside what their dreams and aspirations and what they wanted to be, what they dreamt of becoming as adults. They had to put that aside once they started raising a family.
Why did they have to do that?
A lot of the responsibilities, taking care of the house, the cleaning, the laundry, picking up the kids at school, dropping them off, even like the homeschooling. I see a lot of my friends, they're taking on more of that teacher role or having to fill in because their male counterparts are just, not going to say they're not supportive, but we are seen as more of a caretaker. And, you know, the man is who brings home the bacon, and we have to do that. On top of that, we also have to do all the other things like raising children and teaching them how to read and write. And
seen that change at all in terms of the, I guess, stereotypical kind of woman as the caregiver and male as the breadwinner? Are you seeing any change?
I am seeing a shift. I'm seeing a shift. I have connected with a lot of women who share that. In my household, it's very different. So that's where the modern piece of this comes in, Modern Millennial Mom, because I am seeing a shift, which I'm excited about. But there's still a lot of room to grow, and there's still a lot of, I think that having these conversations also to help us see different perspectives. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that is the wrong way of doing it, that traditional sort of outdated way of raising a family. I'm not saying that it's the wrong way to do it. I'm just saying that for me, it's worked really well to have a really supportive husband and to split the responsibilities.
Yeah. And so you started with food and fashion, then you had your son and you started, I'm going to actually become more of an advocate for equality, or what do you say you advocate for?
I want to say an advocate for a new generation of Latinx and Hispanic women. It is the times are changing, and I think that culturally growth has lagged a little bit, I'm ready to match what we see on TV to what actually happens in the household. So a lot of women are sort of taking on this modern approach to parenting. A lot of families are doing that. And I'm excited to see more of that. And so I'm not saying that I am sort of spearheading this movement. I'm just saying that I want to create a platform where we can normalize.
Are you saying that we're seeing on TV this modern approach? It's coming through the media now as kind of women working. That's the new norm. Is that what you're saying?
I think we're starting to see more of it. So I'm just excited to now, with what we do at home, to also to not just have it be part of the narrative, but to also start to implement that in our everyday lives.
And then what is have you had any reactions from your community, the Latin community, anything specific that stood out to you in terms of reactions from the community?
I've seen more support than pushback, which is, again, exciting and also indicative of that. It's a sign of that shift.
Cool. Well, it's amazing. And so, I think it's a really great pivot. So you are not only out there kind of advocating for this very important generational shift, you're actually putting a pen to the paper because you just launched your own consulting business, right?
I just launched a marketing consulting business. I have over 8 years of experience in marketing communications. And that's another thing that I was really scared of when I had my son, because I thought that I was going to have to put my career on the back burner. And becoming a mom actually helped me be so much more productive. And it helped me treat others with more sympathy. It just helped me look at the world in a completely different light. So there's that. But then I also had a moment where I had to have a sit down with my husband and say, listen, I still want to do all the things that I thought that I wanted to do before I became a mom. I'm really going to need your support in order to make this happen. I can't do this by myself. And after that sit down, I think that, also too, he comes from a household where he had to help his mom. Even as a child, he had to help his mom a lot at home. So my husband cooks and cleans and does all the things that I do, probably better than I know how to do them. So I think that having those conversations too, even about our religious beliefs, or how are we going to raise this child to, grow up in this world, talk about having the difficult conversations about racism, all of those things. I think that we don't often talk about them in the open. And I wonder what would happen if we had more platforms where we come to have these conversations that are uncomfortable, but that share different perspectives and that help us see, these issues in a different light.
Man, that's really, it's very powerful. So you have been working, you've had a career, you had your son. Did you take any time off work at all?
I did. My husband had a big career change. So I took a lot of time. I spent almost, I think a year at home with my son.
But not working at all, just kind of being home.
I worked as a freelancer. I did some copywriting for clients that I had worked with in the past. But it wasn't something steady. I would take on jobs here and there. So I have a really hard time just focusing on being a mom. I am multi-passionate. I'm passionate about my son. I'm passionate about motherhood, but that doesn't take away from the other things that I'm passionate about.
So did you, so after you took the year off, and then how did you get back into work? Did you get a job or did you start your own business?
I started working full-time, also in the marketing space. And doing that, being able to hold to have a full-time job and raise my son when he was still so young, I breastfed for a long time. So balancing all of that really, really taught me the importance of taking care of myself, of self-care. And, I got into yoga and meditation. And because of that, so basically I was pushing myself to the max, right? I was trying to do it all. And I hit a wall. I realized that in order for me to be all of these things that I want to become, I have to take care of myself. It all starts with me. And, once I push myself to the limit or to the max, I can't be my best self as a mom. I can't be my best self as an employee or as a wife. So it also taught me, having to balance all that taught me the importance of self-care.
Okay. And so what does it look like now for you? What's a typical day in terms of balancing self-care with your business and your mom, being a mom?
Mainly, so I've learned how to get creative. I've learned how to, I'll give you an example. So I've noticed that going on walks, just having that time to, be active and spend some time outside really does contribute to my productivity. It makes me feel much, much better mentally, physically. So, when I take my walks, I go on a walk with my son, and I really try, because before I used to take him for a walk, put him in the stroller and just walk. But I was also taking work calls on my phone. And I realized, like, wait a minute, this isn't really self-care if I'm just trying to do it all and really multitask. So I started putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I started just scheduling that time out to be with my son and be, with myself. So that's one example. Another thing too that I'm doing is I'm learning how to be much, much more flexible and forgiving. Like even with my clients, I have the being my own boss allows me the flexibility and the opportunity to choose who I want to work with. Yeah. I want to work with people that understand that being a mom is exactly what it is. It's tiring, it's frustrating. Yes, it's the most amazing feeling in the world, but we're also juggling so much more. So I work with a lot of women. My clients many of them are female. I've worked with men too, but I think that there's just a different connection that I have with the women in my business, because I understand what they go through as moms, and they understand that as well.
So what about the shift from being, I guess, an employee to a business owner? What was your thoughts on that shift for yourself?
I'll tell you that as an employee, I gave a lot of me, and I was grateful for every opportunity. My last job, like I said, was my first job after I had my son. So that job afforded me a lot of flexibility, and I was really grateful for that. But there came we had moments where it was sort of, yes, we can give you a flexible schedule, but at some point it becomes an annoyance to the employer. And I learned from that experience that I don't want to repeat the same patterns. I want to create opportunities for women, whether they're my clients or whether they're contractors helping me out. I want to create opportunities for women that are based around their lifestyle and not the other way around. Mm-hmm. For a while, my life revolved around my work, and now I want to create opportunities that are the other way around.
How many hours a day do you think you should work?
I think it depends. For me, it fluctuates. Some weeks I have really busy weeks where, we're working 50, 55, 60 hours. And other weeks I put in 20, 25. It all depends, because my business is still very, very, I'm just starting out. So it all depends. But I think you should work however many hours your business allows, without draining energy and love for what you do. Like once your job starts becoming a burden, once you wake up in the morning and you're like, this is the last thing I want to do, and that becomes an everyday thing, that becomes a regular feeling, I think then it's time to have to take a step back and see, is this the lifestyle that I want to build?
Yeah. Wow. You're so wise. I love talking to you. So what 3 words would you use to describe who you are?
I'm a hard worker. I think I learned that from my mom. I work hard. but I consider myself a positive person. Positivity breeds positivity. And I'm also driven, hardworking, positive, and driven.
What are your goals? What's your vision for yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years?
I want to create opportunities for other women. Especially young women, little girls and young women that aspire to be, that have these big dreams, and that maybe at home, they don't get enough of that support and encouragement. I want to be that place where they go, whether it's for an internship, a scholarship, or employment.
Wow, cool. And how does your consulting business help clients today? What do you guys do?
We help brands launch and grow their businesses using digital and social media marketing. A lot of the clients that I work with do an amazing job in real life. So now we just have to, but then we look at their social media, and their social media doesn't exactly translate, doesn't exactly match up with what they're doing in real life. For example, I have a realtor. She's a real estate agent in Florida. She's amazing with people. She doesn't have a lot of years in the game, and people just love working with her. She is a people's person. So, but we weren't seeing that online. Her digital presence didn't match that. So I started working with her this month, and already we've gotten really good feedback, and already we've seen her generating leads outside of her network.
How did you make her social media really reflect what her real persona is more? What did you do?
One of the things that we see small business owners, one of the mistakes that we see them make is they treat social media as this platform to sell their services and products. And social media is, the word social comes into play in everything we do on social media. So it should still, a lot of these platforms started out as social platforms. They then became platforms where we do business in too, but they should still remain social at the core. So we created content pillars so that the content that my client is putting out on social media reflects her personality and reflects how she does business in real life, because people do business with people. So instead of her posting listing after listing after listing, or posting messages, I can help you buy or sell a home, we also started incorporating more of her personality. She's a big plant lover. How would
it change if it was a brand versus a person?
Well, I'll tell you how. So I have another client. She opened up a brow studio. She's an ombre powder brow artist. And so she provides a service that is, for the woman looking to enhance her natural beauty, and also is looking to cut back on how much time she's spending on getting ready in the morning. So this one woman in particular, her personality is, if you spend a couple minutes with her, you'll laugh, you'll forget about, what you didn't get through in your to-do list. Like, she's a very she has a very lively personality. So we started creating reels for her that would show that side of her personality. One in particular is her, like, with the drill. So she's just, she did a renovation in her studio, and we show her with the drill, like getting to work, and like, just poking fun at herself, twerking. So we're showing how, yes, she's amazing at what she does, which is ombre powder brow, permanent makeup artist, but also we're showing that side of her that's a little, sassy, and that it's just, so when you go get your eyebrows done by her, yes, she's gonna leave you looking, amazing, but also you're gonna get a good laugh out of it. It's a whole experience. So we created reels for her that would show that side of her personality outside of it.
I love that. So does that mean you have to have a client local to you so you can do like video work for them, or can you take clients anywhere?
We're taking clients anywhere. The two that I just gave you an example, the two that I just mentioned are in Florida.
Oh, okay. And
I'm in Arizona.
Arizona, yeah. Okay, cool. How did you guys find each other?
Well, this is the thing too about being a business owner. So like I said earlier, people do business with people. I have been working with these women for some time. They're my friends of many, many years. But they expressed interest in what I do as a marketer long before I signed them on as clients. So I have been, providing value to these women.
How do you differentiate between spending time personally on your Modern Millennial Mom, which is, is that your personal page, or do you have a separate personal private page?
I don't have a personal private page.
Okay,
No.
so you have your Modern Millennial Mom, and then your new business, which is it MRK Marketing Consulting, right?
Marca Marketing Consulting.
Marca. Wait, say it again.
Marca.
Okay, cool.
Marca means brand in English.
Oh. Spell it.
MRK.
It means brand?
Marca, right, means brand in English. So
Okay.
the correct spelling for marca is M-A-R-C-A. But we sort of did a play on words. Leave your mark. Deja tu marca.
I like it.
Yeah.
So brand new. And so I just followed you. You already have a following, and I know you just launched it. What kind of content can we expect to see on this page versus Modern Millennial Mom?
This content is value for the small business owner looking to launch or grow their business online. So you can expect to see a lot of tips and tricks and advice on marketing your business online. You can expect to see me showing you behind the scenes how I do content creation for my clients, even if they're not local to me. We really make work what we have. You know, I'm scrappy, so I make work what I have. So
yeah, no, honestly, you're going to crush it. You're like, you are amazing. How are you going to make sure you don't get burnt out? Are you planning on hiring, or do you already use freelancers? Like, how do you build your team?
I'm working right now on building. Well, first I want to envision what the team looks like. I'm a firm believer that the people that you do work with should be people that you want to work with for the rest of your life. Whether that's a client or someone that you bring on.
That is an incredible statement. I've never heard it put that way, but it's so true.
That's Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett
really?
said,
wow, that's so eye-opening. Yeah.
Warren Buffett said you should only do work with people that you could see yourself working with for the rest of your life.
I love that.
Yeah, and you know, when you're an employee, you don't get to pick and choose. Your boss is your boss, the company owner is the company owner. And, you know, and once you leave that job, a lot of times you never hear from those people again. So some people you cultivate relationships with and you stay in touch with, but you don't necessarily learn to grow, you know, learn to love every single person you work with. I want the people that I work with, whether they're my clients or freelancers or contractors, I want this to be more than just a transactional relationship. I want this to also be, you're
obviously a leader. I mean, you're inspiring me. Like, you are a leader. I can just tell. Do you find it easier to work with women than men, or harder?
I think that I'm seeing a new generation of men who believe in gender equality, who believe in breaking the glass ceiling. And so I would say that it all depends on the person. I think it's hard to generalize and put all men in one box and all women in one box. I think it depends more on the person's views, regardless of their gender.
Okay, and then when you're building your team, how important is attitude, skill set versus diversity?
I would say that it's a combination of both skill set and personality and values. It's a mix of the whole jazz, because skills can be learned. We can learn new skills, but values and viewpoints, and attitudes, it's hard to mold those to be. That's what I mean when I say, as a business owner, I get to pick who I work with, because some people are never gonna be okay with me saying, hey, listen, I have to move this call because my son woke up from his nap too, early. Some people are gonna look at that and say, this woman is not serious about her business. Not true, but they just might not understand what I go through as a business owner, because they don't have children, or because.
Yeah. Wow, awesome. Well, okay, so you, I mean, really incredible talking to you. The journey from kind of marketing to becoming a mom to kind of reflecting on like going for your dreams still as a mom to kind of starting your own business. It's pretty inspiring story you have.
Thank you, Aimee. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this with your audience.
Thank you so much. And just any final words that you want to share to, I guess, all kind of women who are pregnant or just had a baby, you know, those that are maybe more used to growing up in traditional kind of gender role families. Any final words?
I would say that for me, it really made a difference to have those difficult conversations, not just with my husband, but also with my circle, with my mom and my sisters and my mother-in-law. It helped to have those conversations about gender roles, and it helped to have those conversations about my dreams and aspirations outside of motherhood early on, you know, and they weren't pretty, they weren't pleasant to have, but it helped to have those conversations early on so that they could understand more what I needed in terms of support. And so that they could think outside of the box in terms of who I'm hoping to become and my journey into motherhood, which is very different than what they went through when they had their children years ago.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon again. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Aimee.
For more, please visit www.momsofmaternity.com.